How to light cozy day interiors. Hello everybody, my name is Marco Bagnoli, I'm a cinematographer, and today we talk about how you can make a cozy scene that still feels dramatic and has depth. This is the first shot we're looking at, and as you can see, we really have this crazy soft light across the bodies of these two women in this cozy living room, but also we still have a lot of contrast and light depth. The whole scene feels bright and dark at the same time. How do we achieve a look like this? First thing is the key light. When you have a big space like this, you need to light also for a big space. What you don't have to do, or it's forbidden, is putting your light inside the room. This will destroy your look. What I mean with that, in this location, we decided we always need a light motivation. And our motivation is this window. So the light should also feel like a window. So when you now put a light with a softbox in here and just shine it on the actor, it would feel right. It would feel really lit because the size of the source is now really different than what we actually try to convince the people to think about where the light is coming from. So what do you do in a situation like this? We would put outside a huge butterfly. We cover the whole area, 20 by 20, 12 by 12 view, and then we would put our strongest light to make the interiors with this big of a location. You need the big guns, M90s, M40s, and put the lights like this outside. Nowadays, there are different kinds of ultra bouncers. You have this normal one with just a big white layer. Then you have also these newer ones. We have this texture where one grid is golden, white, gold. Or there's another one where you have the same, but one is blue, one is white, one is blue, one is white, one is blue. These new ultra bounces try to simulate more of a real feeling because the light outside doesn't bounce white. Most of the time it bounces a little bit more blue. So that's the reason we have these blue patterns on here. It's a small detail. It's not something that you actually see that much. But when you have side by side, you can clearly feel the more bluish color. It doesn't start to look on a different white balance. It just gives more the feeling of natural sky. So this is a cool thing to look at. And this is something you can use in a scene like this, but it's not necessary. When something like this your gaffer has, try it one time and learn for yourself what's the big difference is. So now we have this big lights, M19, 80 kilowatts lamps that bounces into the scenery, and this gives us this nice key light on the people. But how do I get this nice contrast? Contrast I'm getting with neck fill. When the location has very bright walls, a bright ceiling, the amount of light we're putting out with these lights bounces across the whole room. You can't control it really good from the outside where the light is bouncing. So we put neck on the whole other side of the room. Really put every wall that is not your camera looking at negative fill, and this will reduce the contrast on the other side, increase the contrast on the other side, and now we get this nice soft light in combination with these deep shadows. And as you get closer with a negative fill, the shadows become even more intense. Now you can control your contrast. When your ambience in the room is still not good enough, so your whole shadow is too extreme and it feels too side-lit, the other thing you can do, put a butterfly into the room exactly in front of the girls, also in an angle, and blast 1200D or something like this into the butterfly. Wait, I redirect it for you. So here in the room, and then you do bounce the light just straight into the scene, but on a really low level, so that we just fill in the shadows a little bit so that we don't have a light ratio that is too extreme. Now we have the full control about the look. Here now on this shot we have a different angle, and as you can see, she is pretty much not lit at all. They still going for that look that the light is just coming from the window. What I mean with that is when the light is only coming from here, there shouldn't be light on the side. The soft light just wraps a little bit across the body. Also, when you have a commercial that's really about sports, you try to light a bit more dramatic because it defines more the body. You want to see the silhouette of the body a bit better. The only thing I would probably do here is put a bounce board closer to the scenery so that we can get a little bit of fill on her side, because otherwise it could happen that she just blacks out and we had a lot of clipping on her face, but we actually want to see the expression. We don't use the light in this scenery because this would be the moment where it starts to look really unnatural. Other tactic is you can do, we put just bounce board, a big one, above her and shoot a light into it that it bounces back on the body, that you extend the wrap a little bit. That's also a way where you can get this look. Here in this more intense scene, you actually can see that the light is coming at an angle, and here they almost completely removed the fill light because now we have a really strong shadow, and that's also when the mood and the shot is changing. So you can adapt as a cinematographer or director, that you can now change the light because the mood that you try to transfer now is a different one than before. So always remember, our job as a cinematographer is support the story, the mood with lighting, camera movement, camera lenses. So, and now they choose, okay, we want to remove a little bit of the fill light. We change the color a little bit into the cooler space. And now the whole scene feels totally different. But we actually just turn one light off, or practically just put a little bit less power into it and change the white balance. And now we get a completely different look with the same lighting setup. Another shot from this commercial is this underwater shot. And they are very difficult to do. Actually, when you're doing it at daytime, I think it's much more easy because now you just need one big light. You need a really strong one, 2400X with a spot mount or a Fresnel and above when we're talking about LEDs, or the new Aputure XT5-6 or something like that. And you blast it just into the water, and now you get this really nice sun rays when you not already got the sun that's doing that, but now we have more control. At night, it's a whole different story. The lighting is actually pretty much the same. You need just less power and maybe a fill light to get a little bit more ambience, but to black out everything down there is pretty annoying when you want this void like type feeling. And also shooting underwater, you can work with companies. They have, where I met people where you can talk with them underwater. They have a system where you can use with frequencies or I don't know. And now we can talk with the cameraman under the water. They have cables that you can still view what the cameraman is seeing, but it's really, really expensive. And most of the time I would also say, don't try this by yourself when you're not a super crazy swimmer, because it's really difficult to film underwater. Control your breathing and everything so that you don't during set. So really concentrate on letting other people do this job. When this is just a small pool, you can try it. When you have the case, when you have a good warranty for your equipment, try it. But this is something I would leave to experts because I wouldn't be good at this. So if you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a subscription for you. My name is Marco Bagnoli and see you next time.